It's hard. Puts the foul. Wemby pull up three. Sends up Wemby. He's three. Wembanyama at the baseline. Drives it inside on the glass.
A 7 feet 6 inches phenom with the agility of a wing and the shooting touch of a guard just completed one of the most dominant sophomore campaigns we've ever witnessed on both ends of the court. Already the NBA's premier defender, WBY didn't take the summer off, he reinvented himself. Think Shaolin Monastery training to sharpen both mind and body. Think private, off-the-radar sessions with an NBA legend. Now at a retooled Spurs roster loaded with explosive young talent. This isn't just a breakout in the making, it's a warning to the league. Subscribe to channel.
Races up on Giannis. Ball off the backboard.
Because WBY didn't just get better, he evolved. If the first 2 seasons were only the preview, year 3 could shatter the league's balance. The alien has leveled up, and the rest of the NBA is about to see how terrifying that can be. The 24-25 campaign couldn't have gone much better for Victor Wembanyama. 24.3 points, 11 rebounds, and nearly 4 blocks per game. He led the Spurs in every major category: scoring, rebounding, assists, steals, and blocks. And he did it all at just 21 years old.
Wemby pull up three. Sets up Wemby. His three. You bet! That is absolutely, positively insane.
Then, right after the All-Star break, everything came to a sudden stop. WBY was diagnosed with a blood clot and ruled out for the rest of the season. While the condition wasn't considered life-threatening, history has shown it can end NBA careers. Just ask Chris Bosh. Thankfully, a few months later, WBY was cleared for full basketball activities. And barring the unexpected, he's set to return for training camp this fall. Here's the frightening part. Early signs suggest he's not just healthy, he's leveled up. The version of Wembanyama we're about to see could be his final form, and that's a nightmare for the rest of the league. Victor's most obvious asset has always been his height, officially listed at 7 feet 3 inches by the NBA. But let's be real, nobody buys that number anymore. From teammates to tunnel footage, every news sighting seems to stretch it further. He's already towering over players listed at 7 feet 1 inch and 7 feet 2 inches. Now, there's a growing belief that WBY could be pushing 7 feet 6 inches or even 7 feet 7 inches. But he's not just getting taller, he's getting stronger. And that combination is about to make him even more unstoppable.
You gotta talk about a cheat code. That's just downright unfair.
On Kevin Hart's Cold as Balls, WBY revealed he's added 30 pounds since entering the league, transforming from a lanky 215 to a solid 245. And it shows. The added muscle, the stronger base, the wider frame, it's all impossible to miss. Now picture this, a 7-foot-something alien who moves like a wing, leads the league in blocks, and just stacked on 30 pounds of power. There's no defensive blueprint for that. And here's what should really make the NBA nervous. He finally has help. For the first time in his career, WBY will step onto the court with a supporting cast built to truly compete.
Stephon Castle lobbing it up to Wemby.
The Spurs didn't make a splashy blockbuster move this offseason, but they played the long game, and played it smart. Instead of mortgaging their future for headlines, they built with purpose. Through the draft, they landed high-upside lottery picks Dylan Harper and Carter Bryant. They shored up their depth with solid veterans like Luke Kornet and Kelly Olynyk, and rounded out the rotation with steady contributors such as Jordan McGloin and Lindy Waters III. The plan going into the summer seemed clear. San Antonio would stay patient, sticking to their vision of constructing a long-term contender around Victor Wembanyama. And while they didn't grab the front-page attention that blockbuster trades often bring, this offseason confirmed their commitment to that blueprint. It was calculated. It was forward-thinking. It upgraded the roster without sacrificing the bigger picture. But most importantly, it sent a message to the entire league. San Antonio is done tanking. They're ready to compete. The biggest statement came with the signing of De'Aaron Fox to a 4-year, $229 million extension. This wasn't just a financial commitment. It was the Spurs planting their flag. declaring they were ready to give Wembanyama a legitimate co-star in the backcourt. Up until now, WBY's young career had been spent alongside makeshift point guards, Jeremy Sochan moonlighting as a floor general, Trey Jones battling to create off the dribble, Malachi Branham showing flashes, and a 39-year-old Chris Paul who could still orchestrate an offense in stretches but no longer carried the gravity to bend defenses. Even without that elite guard play, Wembanyama still looked like a top 20 player last season. Now he'll share the court with Fox, the most dynamic guard the Spurs have had in years. Fox might not be the flashiest name to casual fans, but his production speaks for itself. 21 points, 6 assists, 4 rebounds, and nearly 2 steals per game over his career, along with a growing reputation for clutch play. His lone playoff appearance wasn't about a lack of ability, but more a symptom of Sacramento's instability. Once the Kings paired him with a quality coach and a dependable frontcourt anchor in Domantas Sabonis, Fox emerged as a true leader and a closer in big moments. In San Antonio, he'll step into a similar role, but this time alongside a generational big man. The Fox-Wembanyama pairing only got a brief 5-game run last season due to injuries, but barring setbacks, they'll have an entire year to build chemistry. And they won't be doing it alone. Enter Dylan Harper, one of the most versatile combo guards in his draft class. Harper is relentless getting into the paint, using strength and physicality to collapse defenses. He can read the floor, guard multiple positions, and create mismatches with his size. His pull-up jumper still needs polish, but his all-around game makes him a candidate to eventually average 20-plus points per game. Depending on the rotation, he could log heavy minutes right away. Then there's Stefan Castle, the Swiss Army knife of this Spurs roster. Castle no longer plays with a positional label. He's whatever the team needs on a given night: lockdown perimeter defender, secondary playmaker, or downhill finisher. His defensive IQ, ability to push in transition, and knack for keeping the offense fluid make him a perfect fit next to Wembanyama. Carter Bryant, meanwhile, is already making waves as a rangy two-way wing, drawing early comparisons to Kawhi Leonard on the defensive end. He's the Spurs' best perimeter stopper, a fierce rebounder, and a high-motor cutter who thrives alongside elite playmakers. Pair that with WBY's rim protection, and you've got a defensive pairing that could smother opponents. Jeremy Sochan is also starting to carve out his true NBA identity. Last season, he quietly posted career-best efficiency, thriving on cuts, dump-offs, and offensive rebounds. He shot 70% from within 3 feet and looked far more confident handling the ball, thanks to his point-forward experience. The jumper and free throw forms still need work, but the mechanics are improving, and his confidence is on the rise. And then there's Devin Vassell. At his best, Vassell is a game-changer. His three-point shooting, smooth pull-up game, and constant movement make him an offensive threat at all times. Defensively, he's steady, disruptive off the ball, and capable of guarding multiple positions. If he can iron out consistency, he could become an elite two-way piece. Free agency addressed the Spurs' biggest weaknesses from last year. Kornet brings size and rim protection when Wembanyama sits, while Olynyk adds floor spacing, passing, and veteran savvy. They're not splashy additions, but they're smart, role-specific moves that raise the team's floor. But all roads still lead back to Wembanyama. After a mid-season scare with a blood clot that ended his sophomore year early, he's approaching this offseason differently. Instead of spending every hour in the gym on basketball-specific drills, he's expanding his limits, physically, mentally, and spiritually. In a move reminiscent of Kareem Abdul-Jabbar training in martial arts to extend his career, Wembanyama traveled to China for a 10-day retreat at a historic Shaolin monastery. Sources close to him say this was no publicity stunt. He wanted to challenge himself in a completely new way, to understand his body and mind in ways traditional training couldn't offer. During his stay, WBY earned an entry-level rank in the Shaolin Kung Fu system, a remarkable feat given his towering frame and the short time he had to learn. The training demanded balance, discipline, flexibility, and mental focus. And for someone already possessing freakish length and agility, adding the precision and body control of martial arts could be a terrifying development for the rest of the league. The Spurs have surrounded him with young talent, depth, and a star running mate. He's added muscle, diversified his skill set, and embraced a training approach few players of his stature have ever attempted. If the first 2 seasons were just the preview, what comes next could redefine what's possible for a player of his size. San Antonio's days of patience are over. The rebuild is complete. And with a rejuvenated Wembanyama leading the way, the Western Conference might be on the verge of facing a problem it's never seen before. Kung Fu is more than just kicks and punches. It's about discipline, control, and mastering fear. For Victor Wembanyama, fear became very real back in February, when his season was cut short by a diagnosis of deep vein thrombosis in his right shoulder. That moment changed him. Instead of rushing back through a standard rehab process, he chose a different path, one that was physical, mental, and spiritual. Photos from his time at the Shaolin Monastery showed him shaved-headed, dressed in a monk's gray robe, laser-focused on training. It wasn't just about the body, it was meditation, movement, and control. It's rare to see an NBA superstar embrace something so unconventional, but it fits Wembanyama perfectly. He's never followed the standard script. Off the court, he sketches portraits, plays chess in Central Park, and dives into philosophy. His uniqueness is part of what makes him dangerous. Since the season ended, his itinerary has been fascinating, playing soccer with kids in Costa Rica, drilling a free kick in Tokyo and celebrating with a dance before hitting a nightclub, and hosting his own Hoop Gambit tournament in his hometown of Le Chesnay, which blended chess, one-on-one battles, and community-built courts. One of the most talked about moments of his summer was a photo of him alongside NBA legend Kevin Garnett. Garnett, a Hall of Famer, champion, and one of the most intense competitors the game has ever seen, is exactly the kind of mentor you'd want for Wembanyama. Garnett played with unmatched fire, but approached the game with surgical precision. For Wembanyama, the unorthodox monastery training wasn't for show, it had a purpose. It stretched his body in ways traditional workouts couldn't, taught him to move at angles defenders can't anticipate, and developed control, balance, and awareness. Those extra inches of reach or split-second adjustments could be the difference between blocking a shot or slipping through traffic for a finish. Even with his season shortened to just 46 games in 2024-25, Wembanyama leveled up across the board, averaging 24.3 points, 11 rebounds, 3.2 assists, 1.1 steals, and an absurd 3.8 blocks per game, leading the Spurs in nearly every major category. And yet, the gap between his current game and his ultimate ceiling is closing fast. Defensively, he's already in a class of his own. At just 21 years old and only 2 seasons in, he's the best defender in the NBA. And that's not hyperbole. The numbers prove it. The average NBA game sees around 82 shots in the paint. Even in today's three-point heavy era, the restricted area remains the most valuable scoring zone. That's where Wembanyama lives, and dominates. League-wide, shots at the rim fall at 67.8%. But when Wembanyama contests those same shots, the percentage plummets to 46.9%, a staggering 20-point drop. And it's not just about altering shots, he deters them altogether. Opponents attempt 52 paint shots per 100 possessions when he's off the floor, but only 45.6 when he's on it. These aren't just good stats, they're league-altering. He doesn't just protect the rim, he changes the geography of the sport. If every team had a Wembanyama, the NBA's shot chart would look completely different. The most efficient shots in basketball become both less frequent and less effective. That's his superpower, and the Spurs' greatest defensive weapon. What makes it more remarkable is how he does it. Sure, his size and length are unmatched, but his timing, balance, and footwork are elite. He can block shots with either hand, switch onto guards, and recover even when beaten. He moves like a wing, thinks like a chess player, and defends like a Hall of Fame center in his prime. It's a cheat code combination that makes him nearly impossible to score on at the rim. And here's the wild part, he's doing all of this without fouling. That level of control separates great defenders from generational ones. Wembanyama has the physical gifts to dominate, but it's his discipline and precision that make him truly terrifying for opponents. Victor Wembanyama blocked 170 shots last season, the most in the NBA, despite playing only 46 games. Second place, Brook Lopez, had 148 in 80 games. Third, Miles Turner, 144 in 72 games. And when it comes to fouls, the difference is staggering. Wemby committed just 105 all season. Lopez had 171. Turner, 183. That gives Wemby a block-to-foul ratio of 1.68. Lopez? 0.87. Turner? 0.79. That means he blocks nearly twice as many shots per foul as anyone else at the top of the leaderboard. That's not just dominance. That's rare, surgical efficiency. Keep this up, and he's not only the best defender in basketball, he's on pace for the highest block-to-foul ratio in league history. So yes, defensively, there's no debate. Victor Wembanyama is already that guy. But on offense? That's still a work in progress, and the progress is terrifying. Last season, Wemby took a clear leap as a scorer. His shooting percentage jumped from 46.5% as a rookie to 47.6% in year 2. His points per game climbed from 21.4 to 24.3, earning him his first All-Star selection. But beyond the numbers, how he's scoring is evolving in ways we've never seen from a player his size. The biggest leap? His jumper. Wemby now shoots over 35% from 3, while also improving his efficiency inside the arc. He's becoming a legitimate 3-level scorer. And near the basket? That's where he's already overwhelming, even though he's still not fully using his size and strength in the paint every possession. When he does, his offensive dominance could hit a whole new tier. Then there's his open court game. He's not just a half-court nightmare, he's deadly in transition. According to Synergy Sports, he hit 42.2% of his transition threes last season, his third most frequent type of three after spot-ups and pick-and-pops. Think about that, a 7 feet 6 inches center with an 8-foot wingspan, comfortably pulling up from 30 feet on the break. That shot will always be there for him, and it's usually wide open. With deep pull-ups, fast break daggers, and rim assaults, Wemby is morphing into one of the league's most unguardable weapons. His game is like if Kevin Durant's finesse met Shaquille O'Neal's power in one body. And here's where basketball logic breaks. You're not supposed to have a player who is runner-up for Defensive Player of the Year as a rookie also handling the ball like a guard, shooting like a wing, and moving like a small forward. You're not supposed to see a 21-year-old going toe-to-toe with veterans who've been in the league for a decade. But Wemby isn't just redefining the big man. He's redefining the game. Combining elite perimeter skills with unprecedented size isn't just the future of basketball, it's the present. And Victor Wembanyama is the blueprint. Let's put this in perspective. Before Wemby, no player over 7 feet 3 inches had ever pulled up from 20 feet in transition with regularity. Now you've got a 7 feet 6 inches athlete, stronger and faster than ever, fresh off a summer of Shaolin Kung Fu training. He's expanding what's physically and mentally possible for someone his size. His sophomore season wasn't just good, it was historic. At 21 years old, Wemby averaged 24 points, 11 rebounds, 4 assists, 1 steal, and nearly 4 blocks per game. He shot 35% from 3 and 84% from the line. And he did it without optimal spacing, without a high-level point guard, and without a fully built-out offensive system. That's changing. The Spurs are adding structure, shooters, and playmakers around him, and that means Wemby's numbers are primed to explode. History shows what happens when generational players hit this point. Giannis Antetokounmpo jumped from 13 points in year 2 to 17 in year 3. LeBron went from 27 to 31. Michael Jordan, after missing most of his second season, came back in year 3 and rocketed from 23 to 37 points per game. Year 3 is where great players take off. For Wemby, A 14-point leap isn't necessary, but 28 to 30 points a night. 12 rebounds? 5 assists? 1 steal? 4 blocks? All within reach. His floor is already elite. His ceiling keeps rising. And with health, experience, and a sharpened mindset, the rest of the NBA should be terrified. They called him the alien before. But after this summer, he's something scarier. A 7 feet 6 inches Shaolin-trained, Garnett-inspired, rim-protecting nightmare. So now the question isn't whether Wemby is good. The question is whether anyone can stop him. What do you think? Is he about to take over the league, or is the hype overblown? Drop your thoughts below, hit that like button, and subscribe for more. The takeover might just be starting.